around on a new COVID relief bill. A look back at Joplin's historic Olivia Apartments after the building is heavily damaged by fire. And the power of a letter, how Santa and the community helped to make a little girl's Christmas wish come true.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Supreme Court shoots down one of President Trump's last attempts to overturn the election. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the court denies a Republican challenge to the vote in Pennsylvania. The Supreme Court rejected the effort by Pennsylvania Republicans to undo the certification of their state's presidential election. Now, earlier on Tuesday, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton asked the court to overturn the election results in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, all states President Trump lost after carrying them in 2016. Meanwhile, Congress continues to discuss its emergency relief bill to help Americans struggling financially during the pandemic. Yesterday, the White House presented a $916 billion proposal to Democrats as negotiations continue. Joplin officials released new information on a fire at a historic apartment building. Firefighters kept Monday night's fire at the Olivia building on Moffett contained to the 5th floor of the building. There were no injuries, but the building did suffer extensive fire and water damage. And the investigation is still ongoing. KOAM's Caitlin Shive shares more details from officials and gives us a look back at the history of the building.
The Olivia apartment building has sat at 320 South Moffett in Joplin since February of 1906.
And Anton Bendelari was the person that had this vision that he thought that there needed to be some places to stay and close to the commercial center. And so a sophisticated apartment house came to mind, and he spent $150,000, which is a tremendous amount of money, to build this magnificent structure. And he hired Austin Allen, a local Joplin architect, to design it.
The building was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2008.
The designations are revered and are very special. And we also have districts, and in fact it's in the great community of Murfreesburg, the Murfreesburg district.
These original Austin Allen photographs came into the hands of Brad Belk with the Joplin Historic Society only a couple of weeks ago.
They're extraordinary because, to my knowledge, I had never run across anything to see what the building actually looked like in its first days of opening up.
But just as a new look into the building's history emerges, community members witnessed part of the beloved structure burn Monday night.
On Monday night, we were dispatched to 320 South Moffett for a report of fire on a roof. Our crews arrived, very familiar with the building, it being the Olivia Apartments. We found a 5-story, we knew it was a vacant apartment complex with heavy fire showing on the 5th floor, and it was through the roof.
Firefighters were able to contain the fire to the 5th floor and put out the flames by 1 in the morning. The fire is still under investigation. Electric was connected to the building at the time of the fire, but a cause is unknown for now as crews have been unable to reach where it could have started due to extensive damage.
It's heartbreaking. We had really been actively working on that property specifically with our endangered properties program this year and thought we had made a lot of great strides and that things were moving forward for it.
The Downtown Joplin Alliance has been working with developers to potentially restore the building into senior housing, but the future of that plan is now unknown.
They're not necessarily out. They're not sure at this point. Obviously some assessment's going to have to be done.
The Olivia was also listed on Missouri's 2020 list of places in peril, something more true now than ever.
That's exactly what places of peril is this building is endangered.
In Joplin, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
Well, Michael, I know the Olivia Apartments meant a lot to a lot of 4-state residents, including some of our morning viewers.
That's right, and we're lucky enough to have such great engagement with our viewers through Facebook and every morning, whether it be the Insta poll or whether it be our comments and our question of the day or something to talk about. We get great engagement, and sometimes that engagement can lead to other contributions to stories. Guy Hansen is one of our regular contributors, and that's why it says unrelated at the top right there. But Guy was fortunate enough to actually grab these pictures of the Olivia Apartments building. And also, too, look at that gorgeous lobby that they have right there. I also found it very interesting, his last line. This was the #1 building on my wish list for restoration. So we'll see what comes of it now that the fire is under investigation. There's a live look from the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We are clear as can be on this Wednesday. From the Freeman Health System Sky Camera, temperatures already working up into the high 50s, and we are far from done as of yet. As a matter of fact, we're going to end up talking about challenging some record highs, not only for today, but also for tomorrow, as the mercury is going to climb into the high 60s later on, and then we're talking about the 70s by the time we get into tomorrow. Now, I need you to enjoy today and tomorrow, because guess what happens on Friday? Number one, we're going to start rain in the morning, and on the backside of that, look on the far top left-hand corner right there. That's those colder temperatures that are going to roll through. We'll get some legitimate rain out of this. We should be able to avoid the wintry mix for the most part. If we do see anything, it'll simply be clipping the northwest counties that we have. And then into the weekend, it's going to be chilly with overnight lows consistently dropping below the freezing mark. Now, since we talk about dropping below the freezing mark, well, what's that the perfect opportunity to talk about?
Santa.
Santa's on the way. So we actually set up a conduit from KOAM straight up to the North Pole. Here it is on our homepage right here. It's called Notes to the North Pole. With 2020 being what it is, we got Santa to go virtual this year. And all you have to do is you, your kid, or maybe both of you sit down. You fill out that form right there. And Tanya, here's what I'm being told. Evidently, in between December 17th and the 24th, we've somehow found a way to get the big man a camera, and he's going to be reading those letters on the KOAM Morning News.
That is awesome. Letters to Santa are so important.
Like I said,
big part of every childhood.
KOAMnewsnow.com, right-hand side, just click on the Notes to the North Pole link.
All right, definitely going to do that with my kids. Thanks, Michael. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, a special Christmas letter. We're going to show you how Santa is already making one girl's wish come true. And later, we prepare for Hanukkah with a Mr. Food recipe for sweet potato pancakes. It's not even December 25th yet, but Santa Claus is already making Christmas wishes come true. 7-year-old Annalise Hawking of New Hampshire wrote to the big man in red, asking him for just one thing this Christmas: to find her friend Nyla. Nikki Batiste shares their charming story.
Dear Santa, for Christmas I would like it to be a surprise. Please tell Nyla that I miss her.
This priceless Christmas wish from 7-year-old Annalise Hawking stood out when it arrived at the North Pole last week.
Please tell her my address.
She simply wanted help finding her 8-year-old friend Nyla Loftus.
A lot of kids ask for toys. Why did you want to ask to see your friend this year?
I asked to see Nyla because I really missed her.
The two girls became best friends last year after Nyla helped Annalise, whose family was new in town, feel welcome. But when Nyla's family moved away in February, the second graders lost touch. So Annalise turned to the one person who makes miracles happen. Santa Claus, with a little help from Annalise's mom, Leslie, posted a photo of the letter to Facebook, asking if the community could help find Nyla. Over 100 people responded.
I was definitely crying a little bit. Santa posted it on Facebook and all these people had helped him. We found her. I can't believe this happened.
It actually chokes me up right now. I was just amazed that a little girl would ask that.
Moms Leslie and Sarah knew they had to get their daughters together, so they planned a surprise meetup.
Nyla poked her head up. Nyla!
You were surprised?
Mm-hmm. We hugged and I couldn't talk. I was speechless. I didn't know what to say.
If you could say something to Santa right now, I think he's listening. What would you like to say?
Thank you for making my wish come true.
Leslie and Sarah are grateful for all of Santa's helpers who made their daughter's reunion possible.
People in this time of year feel an extra sense of giving, and I think this brought out the best in people in a lot of ways.
Sarah, how has this all impacted Nyla and your family? Because she is also in a new school now.
It's been great seeing her smile because it's been so hard. This has definitely made her so more cheerful. She still has her best friend.
In a difficult year, two best friends reminding us of the simple joys this holiday.
Annalise and Nyla now FaceTime regularly, and their families hope to get together again after the pandemic slows down. Both girls have been remote learning, so seeing each other was extra special. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, New York.
Well, the safest holiday guest to host this year comes straight from the North Pole. Elf on the Shelf is deploying millions of its Scout elves for its 15-year anniversary to give Christmas a boost during the coronavirus pandemic. No quarantine needed here. Santa Claus himself confirms the magical characters are 100% immune to human viruses. That's good to know. I think it's time for mine to start moving. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Tomorrow night marks the beginning of Hanukkah, so join us as we get ready with a recipe that's perfect for celebrating.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
No, it might be a little interesting when we bust out the cheat sheet. That was called the magic of TV, folks. That was not a trick, it was an illusion. Our weather almanac on this December 9th right now, we really want to concentrate on our record highs. What we're looking at is if we get to 71, that's at Joplin Regional Airport. That's going to tie that record from 93. Chanute, we're looking at 72 degrees. That's from 1940. Pittsburgh, I think we're going to get past this. 69 degrees set in 1991. Monette, don't think we're going to get there. Monette, we'd have to get all the way up to 75 to tie that same record that was set in 1991. That being said, it is absolutely a delightful middle of December right now. 59 in Carthage, let's roll 63 in Fredonia, and 62 in Nevada. Back outside the mothership right here, we sit at 63 degrees. Two things I want to point out. Number one, the wind, and number two, the humidity. Now, it is extremely dry, but at the same point in time, that really helps us out as far as not having to worry about patchy morning fog. So we'll go ahead and take that. And the reason it's kind of tolerable is because we don't have the red flag warnings, the high wind advisories, or anything like that. We don't have that elevated fire risk because the wind's just coming in just anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the south-southwest. Now, interesting thing about it, you'd think if we're talking about record-setting temperatures, you may expect that wind to be barreling, you know, out of DFW where it's already 70, say 20, 30 miles an hour and making it warmer. No, it's actually the perfect placement of the ridge of the jet stream right over us. And of course, once you get below the ridge, you're going to have a little bit of an abnormal warm-up as we have a great-looking Skywatch storm tracker. So this afternoon, we're going to roll high 60s, and we are going to see some 70s up there. I got Thursday's records on there as well because we're going to challenge that when we get through it. And we'll kind of wrap that up tomorrow there and see where we all play out. But the big difference is going to be what develops on Friday morning, because after 2 consecutive warm days, Friday morning the rain swoops in from the west-southwest, and we are going to see some heavy rain associated with it. Now, during Friday for the commute, all the wintry mix, that should stay west of Wichita, so that's really not going to play a role for us. But then as we see the rain shift east throughout the afternoon hours, and once again, that's a pretty substantial band right there along 49 and up I-44. We are going to drop substantially as far as our temperatures go. It's going to be a chilly weekend. Now, Friday night into Saturday morning, could see a little bit of that clip our far northwestern counties. So if you're headed up there, if you live up there, just be apprised of that. But then we kind of lock in for a little taste of what should be December temperatures, 40s, 50s, and average high this time of year about 48. Big differences though, Tanya, those overnight lows consistently drop below freezing.
Yeah, might as well enjoy these warm temperatures while they last.
Hey, we got 2 perfect days of it.
All right, it's cooling down and as it gets closer to the big day. All right, thanks, Michael. We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Chief Petty Officer Michael Driscoll in the U.S. Navy. The sailor hails from Pleasanton, Kansas. In 1990, he served aboard the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower on the Red Sea in support of Operation Desert Shield. Chief Petty Officer Driscoll earned a number of honors, among them the 2002 Sailor of the Year honor, the Kuwait Liberation Medal, and 5 Navy Good Conduct medals. To Michael Driscoll, we thank you, our 4-state hero.
Here's your...
Today's recipe is perfect for when the weather gets chilly, but it's really good any time of the year. Howard shows us how to make sweet potato pancakes in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Tomorrow night is the beginning of Hanukkah. Like most Jewish holidays, we can never figure out exactly when it's going to fall. One year it's around Thanksgiving, and the next, it falls the same time as Christmas. The dates may vary, but one thing that doesn't is that no Hanukkah celebration, or really any holiday get-together, is complete without potato pancakes. But this year, we're making ours with sweet potatoes rather than traditional white ones. We start by shredding 2 to 3 sweet potatoes that we've peeled. If you're making a double batch of these, now's the time to pull out your food processor. To this, we add an onion that we've chopped, along with an egg, flour, baking powder, and a bit of salt and pepper. After it's mixed, we form these into pancakes and pan fry them just long enough so they crisp up. Once they're done, we drain them on a cooling rack or on a platter lined with paper towels. And don't think these are just for Hanukkah. They're also great with your holiday ham or roast beef. Maybe serve them up with some applesauce for Dunkin', and you're good to go. To get the recipe for our sweet potato pancakes, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a holiday special way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
Today we roll high 60s, then tomorrow, why don't we throw up some 70s on the board? But remember, big changes that come by the time we get into Friday as number 1. The morning brings us rain, the afternoon brings us a cold front for what really does set up to be a relatively chilly weekend. Take advantage of the middle of the week here to get anything you need done outside. What we got coming up tonight at 5?
Well, coming up tonight at 5, Google is out with its year-in Search 2020 Trends list, revealing what was on Americans' mind this year. No surprise, top trenders, how to cut hair, and where to buy toilet paper. We're going to look at other top trending searches and the story they tell about 2020. Plus, the eviction moratorium issued by the CDC ends December 31st. We'll take a look at what that impact is having on an organization that helps those in need. What's next for landlords and tenants? And Operation Santa Claus begins in Parsons, Kansas this week. I'll tell you what that entails.
Thank you all for joining us here on the KOAM News at Noon. Tanya and I will see you again tomorrow morning.
And the rest of the team right back here at 5 o'clock.